Welcome back, everyone. This is my video to show my conquering of the third dungeon of the Legend of Zelda game. As I said, this is something that is on my, as I would call it, video game bucket list to finally complete the Legend of Zelda. It actually took me some time to get this video out there, and I will explain why that was. There are several reasons. First reason is that I realized that the first two dungeon videos I did, I was able to record my voice, record the voice audio, and play the game at the same time. But as all video games go, the further you move along with the game, the more difficult the dungeons get. And I realized I could not just play through this third dungeon in one go. So I did not want to have a super long video of me keep going back and forth to the dungeon. And also, I learned another thing that I learned was that sometimes you don't always have the ideal situations to complete these dungeons. You don't have all the ideal items, and you would like to, go and get those. For example, like these guys right here. These guys are the ones that gave me the most problem. As you can see, I just skipped right through that room to try and get the compass. So my strategy here was I did complete the dungeon. I just didn't do it in one go through. I actually went through one room and got some of the items, the compass, the map, and then I would go out and find other things. Like for example, here I can't get the bombs, even though I killed the bats in that room. Um, so yeah, and some of those items you cannot get in the dungeons. Some of the things you need to get through these rooms that are outside of the game in Hyrule, the Legend of Zelda world. As you can see, I died there, and so continue and just go back to it. But I already have the compass, so now I want to go and find something else, and I would probably try to get the map this time. Um, these guys, of course, they're annoying, but they don't really hurt you that much. They just multiply when you hit them for the first time. So yeah, I only have 5 hearts, but in order to get more hearts, you don't necessarily have to complete a dungeon. I know there are secret heart area locations, but I haven't really explored the world, and that is one of my mistakes that I made because I should have explored the world to get more hearts. And as I'm coming out here, my strategy was I this is a place I discovered, this fairy wishing well, if you want to call it a fairy pond. I don't know exactly what people call it, but it gives you 100% life, and therefore it allows my swords to then, you know, um, shoot the sword. And my strategy here was to go after those, I guess, red cape guards because they're the ones who gave me the most problems in this dungeon. And I would rather have kill them from a distance, and because they're very difficult. I've tried to research things to kill them, kill them, how to defeat them online. But basically, yes, you cannot hurt them from the front, so you have to get them from the side or the back, and they're constantly moving and changing direction. And so, yeah, it does take some time to study them. But I would rather be taking them on from a distance than straight up front because I don't want to be right behind them and they turn quickly on you and then they hurt you. And so that's what I'm attempting to do here. And I'm hiding in a doorway. As you can see, I found that to be a safe area. They can walk right by me as long as I don't accidentally walk right back into the next room. Okay. So that's my strategy here. So I'm just making sure that I don't know their pattern, and I don't know if I could ever learn their pattern or have the patience right now to do so. So I just let them walk around in the screen, and then when I see one of them turn their back to me or turn their side, I will shoot a sword at them. And as you can see there, I I'm rewarded with a um, 5 rupee. And yes, and so of course you have to sort of defeat every enemy in each room, although that's not really the case in this dungeon. I'll show that to you later. Um, but by doing so, that's how you get keys and maybe whatever special item or access to another room. So this is probably the toughest opponent I have come across in a dungeon, and that's why I could not do this video with one time. I could not do it all at one time. I cannot complete this dungeon. I think it took me a couple hours to complete this dungeon. Yeah, maybe when I was younger, it would have been a shorter amount of time, but you know, I haven't played these games for years. And yes, in my opinion, I think in the opinion of many others, that video games of the original era. See, I got a couple bombs there. Now I'm loaded with bombs. So now I'm looking and okay, I'm and there I discover a because you can see on the map there that there's obviously an adjoining room. And in this room, another three guards that I don't particularly like. So, I'm still happy that I have my 100% hearts, and therefore I can still shoot my sword. Um, and it hopefully will. I don't really. Now, all of this I can figure out or find out online how many hits these guards would take. And yes, I have been using a lot of online help. Um, when I was a kid playing these games for the first time, there was no internet, and so the only way you found out secrets to these games are either by word of mouth on the playground or friends, or at the magazine stand, and you look through a Nintendo Power or whatever video game magazine was out at that time. I'm sure those who may be watching this and are from the same generation as I am, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I could remember when the internet finally did come around to the masses, and I was able to look up. I think one of the first things I probably did was look up uh, game secrets for some of the games that I felt were hard at that time when I was playing them, and move forward in them. So okay, so I'm able to get in this room. Yeah, bats and blobs, I guess you can call them. The I don't know what these sparkly things are called, tumbleweeds. Of course, I learned that they don't really hurt you. I don't know what they do. Maybe they slow you down, but you can get touched by them, and they don't really seem to hurt you that much. So, okay, we're moving forward. And what do I have here? Okay, there's the map. So I found the map, and I have 100% of my heart. So I'm happy because I have the ideal situation to meet another enemy. So now it's time to move forward. Okay. This room, okay, just some blobs. Not too difficult, but it's always good if you can keep distance between yourself and the enemies, because then you have less chance of getting hit and you can keep your 100% heart level. Um, Another key. This room has, of course, 2 doors, and so now I have 3 keys. I think I have a key left over from dungeon number 2, actually. Um, okay, so just some blobs. This is a fairly simple room, and taking care of the blobs is not a big problem. What I've learned is that if you shoot them, these little blobs will jump out at you. So you do want to be a little bit away from them. But the little blobs can be taken care of by the boomerang. Okay, so here I meet the old wise man, and he says, "Did you get the sword from the old man on top of the mountain? I'm sorry, the waterfall." Of course, the waterfall is near the mountain, so it's basically top of the mountain. Okay, um, bats are easily taken care of by the boomerang, and I got the key already. Is there anything else they'll give me here? No, just open the door for me. Yes. Okay. So now I have the map. Now I have the compass, and I can see the red flashing dot there in the upper right corner of the dungeon. That's where the big boss will be, and That's where I will achieve another heart container and part of the Triforce. Once again, I don't necessarily think it's called a Triforce. It's actually the pyramid piece. Okay, let's go through this door. All right. Okay. So just a bunch of bats. Yeah. Now I was here last time and I got bombs, but I was unable to pick up the bombs because of I was on the wrong angle. I couldn't get the boomerang through the wall. Yeah, I mean, this kind of dungeon, you think these guys, these tumbleweeds, these electric tumbleweeds will hurt you, but they don't, and therefore it was a bit confusing for me to try to avoid all of them, but actually I could just let them touch me and concentrate on the other enemies. Okay, so I went back to the fairy pond to get loaded up with 100% hearts again because I knew that I'm going to be taking on um, more of the red guards. So here is when after some time of frustration of trying to complete things, I went exploring in Hyrule and I found another cave, which is what you're supposed to do. And I finally found arrows. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to spend some of the money that I've acquired to get the arrows. So now I have a bow with arrows. So how would that help me? Well, my thinking was that it would help me with the guards. Okay, so here we are back in the dungeon. And now we go to the room with the main guy, the main monster. Put your bombs on. I know it takes bombs to kill this guy. Okay, so you could get him in one bomb, I'm told, but no, I wasn't fortunate enough this time. So get a heart container, go into the next room, and that's where I'll pick up a piece of the pyramid that I need. And so that completes the third dungeon, but it's not 100% complete because I do not have a special item that comes in every dungeon. So that means I have to go back down there, and that's exactly what I did. Um, and that's why it took me several times to complete this. And this video is put together from all the. Now, here, I decided that I'm going to use bombs because I already killed the big guy. So may as well use my bombs. Unfortunately, you don't have a um, infinite amount of bombs, but I do lessen the amount of guys in this room, and therefore it's a little easier for me to kill these two remaining um, red guards. I don't know what they're called. Yeah, they look like knights, so I guess you call them red knights. So yeah, always on the move. You always sort of have to be on the move and then try to approach these guys. See if I. That's why I don't like to get too close to them. See, as you can see, every time I get close, they turn on me, and um, yeah, I get hurt pretty easily because maybe my reflexes aren't what they used to be. So, but once I get past this room, it's a must to get past this room, I believe, in order to get to the room where the special prize is. So, yes. Now, see, I'm using my bow and arrow, and it has no effect. No effect at all, even if they're turned sideways or you shoot them in the back. No effect. So it's only sword. So now I have to be very careful here not to get hit by them while using my sword. And yeah, I guess I'm a little overly cautious, and that's why uh, going after these guards in the different rooms, it took me many visits to this dungeon in order to complete it. That's why this video is different than the first two. There's not just a walkthrough as I'm playing it. Okay, so that's the best thing I can get, which is a stopwatch, which stops the guy where he is, and there you are. That room opens. Now down here, whole mess of them, but you don't have to even touch them. You just avoid them. Okay, and yes, now I found that the arrows are one of my new favorite things more than the boomerang. Because if you hit the bats and the blobs I found with arrows, the blobs actually will turn into items that you could use, like hearts or gems. And so that's another discovery of me playing this dungeon. So now I have 100% complete completed the dungeon, and now I'm just trying to work my way out. The best thing is that once you kill an enemy in a room, you pretty much walk through the room again, and there are no enemies, and then you're free to go. So I have completed the third dungeon. Now I'm going to go and work on trying to find and complete the fourth dungeon to continue with my quests. I don't have to be bothered by these guys, just walk right past them. I have everything I need. The blobs, as you can see here, if I shoot one with an arrow, say I get an item. In the past, when I hit one with a sword and used a boomerang, I would get nothing. So the arrow is helpful killing them. And here I am again with these blobs and picking up more items. Pretty much a simple way to gather items and things that you need by using. There's a fairy, not 100%, but I'm doing very well. And here I'm going out, and I'm very happy about that. So I'm happy with this now that I've completed. Thank you all for watching. Please, please wait for the next one. And thanks a lot. Like and subscribe.